I don't know how many of you have been watching on BBC4 the recent 10-part American series on the Vietnam War. Anybody? Absolutely fantastic. You can watch it on, you can catch up on iPlayer, and it's been a 10-year labour of love to produce this extraordinary documentary from the very beginnings to the end of the Vietnam conflict, which is a really, really interesting study, apart from anybody who's interested in just combat in general. It's a really, really interesting study in how really, really intelligent people can end up making really dumb decisions. And one of the things that can most wrong-foot people is falling in love with a particular metric. And that's the assumption that what you can measure somehow must be important. And the dangerous thing, I think, in a lot of life is that there are important things and there are things that are easy to measure, but the correlation between the two may not be all that great. And one of the problems I noticed in about episode 5 of this season is all the military guys, because they were obsessed with reporting upwards what they were doing. In some ways, I suspect if you'd left the conflict to the people on the ground, it probably could have been over with in about 3 years. Because of the need to report information, you have to report information that can be aggregated. And in order to be aggregatable, it's got to be numerical. And a lot of incredibly important information, particularly to do with attitudes and hearts and minds, doesn't have an SI unit or a mathematical measure attached to it. So they, particularly at the top, people like McNamara, extraordinary bright people, became obsessed with the body count. And because they were encouraged by the ratio of the body count, they missed a really, really important thing, which is they thought that the more bodies that you'd effectively created, the better you were doing. What they missed was a very simple fact. If you killed one VC, you had one less VC to contend with. Every time you killed an innocent civilian, however, which appeared exactly the same on the body count, you created 10 new VC. And so the obsession with metrics, particularly as the higher up an organization you get, the more preoccupied you are with self-justification, the more you deal with aggregate information, and the kind of information that aggregates may not be the best information.